Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Today, we're going to be taking a look at a clip of a fat activist complaining that they went to Europe and couldn't fit into any of the clothing. No, it's not J-Bay, it's actually Fat Fab Feminist who we haven't checked in with in a while. It's been a while since we checked in with Fat Fab Feminist. Here are a bunch of complaints. It's been a while. We're also going to be taking a look at a few bonus clips from this same creator, including one where they're saying that thin people not fitting into clothing isn't as bad as when fat people don't fit into clothing. And later on, we're going to be taking a look at a clip of some fat art, so be sure to stick around until the end. Before we proceed, please click the like button so that I may apply comb to mustache. She's going to be responding to this comment that says, "What's it like traveling as a fat woman? The US doesn't feel built for us, but is it worse internationally?" And then the text on the screen says, "I'll make a more in-depth video later, but here's my experience. Europeans have a staring problem." Some places, Italy, are more intense than others, but it definitely happens to me more in Europe than New York. Okay, so fat activists have had a lot of complaints for the accommodations here in this country. Now one of them has gone to another country and gotten a taste of the real world. You were lucky they were as accommodating for you here as they were. Now you see that. Shopping for clothes is next to impossible, but I'm aware of that, so it's not disappointing. Just make sure to pack everything you need clothing-wise, and it's definitely a lot more walking than in the US. Okay. That sounds god-awful. But as long as you are traveling with people who know what is and is not accessible to you, you can definitely make accommodations for yourself. I personally budgeted more for Ubers, which helps a lot. Okay, so you went to Europe and you have complaints that the clothing is too small and everybody is staring at you, and you also have to do some walking, God forbid. I like how she said, as long as you're traveling with people who know what is and is not accessible to you. Translation: as long as you're willing to hold everybody back in your party and not let them have a good time either. I know you guys wanted to hike up Mount Vesuvius, but I want to take an Uber. Can't we pay some Sherpas to carry me? Now we see what happens when a fat activist from the United States goes to a European country. Most of those countries are much older, so the infrastructure goes back to a time when human beings were... This is how I'm nicely saying, not morbidly obese. Alright, so those Europeans are jerks who stare too much and they don't make clothes big enough. I've been saying that about those jerks for years. Europe. No, I'm just kidding. I'd like to visit Europe one day. That'd probably be cool. Next.
I can't talk right now. I'm doing hot girl.
I can't talk right now. I'm doing hot boy stuff. Also, why is everybody calling themselves a girl? There's no women anymore. Fit check. Okay, so you're in front of the Eiffel Tower, right? They put Olympic rings on that sucker, I see. Okay. I included that clip since she was just talking mess about Europe or whatever. I figured I would show her twirling in front of the Eiffel Tower. I'm a quirky guy like that, you know? I'm trying to order these in a way that really makes you, think and stuff. I'm kind of deep. I'm kind of a little bit deeper than the rest of these plebs. Next. Alright, now she's going to be responding to this comment that reads, "Being fat is subjective, and body dysmorphia will make you unable to accurately judge what you look like. Stop battling people with dysmorphia like they're your biggest enemy."
I understand that the early 2000s did irreparable damage to the way that we view what is and is not fat, and has honestly caused...
Are you sure it was the early 2000s that did that? So we're starting this off with lies, right out the gate. Before the early 2000s, we were totally into morbid obesity as a society. I forgot about that. And then the 2000s came along and brainwashed us all to being into people that are actually thin enough to walk using their own legs. Frickin' media.
So many eating issues with body image, issues with eating, issues with the way that people look. I understand that. But I need you all to understand that fatness is not subjective. When I'm talking about fat, I'm talking about plus size people.
You can't say that fatness is not subjective. If somebody has body dysmorphia, they think that they are fat.
Like when I'm talking about fat, I'm talking about plus size people. Like people that are 16 plus, if you call yourself fat, slay. I understand what you're saying about fatness being subjective. Like,
okay, so you're not allowed to, quote, feel fat, end quote, if you're less than a size 16. All right, we have finally established where the fatness spectrum begins. Size 16, thank you. I've been asking that question forever. What is fat? It's such an abstract concept at this point. Who can even pinpoint it?
sure, yeah. But like if you're saying that like you're not actually fat, but you have body dysmorphia, so you view yourself as fat, it means you're not actually fat. Like,
what if I view myself as a size 16? I look down at the tag and my eyes see size 16. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to make fun of body dysmorphia or anything.
Do you understand that? I don't have an issue with people who have body dysmorphia. I honestly empathize, and I cannot understand how difficult it could be to not understand what your body looks like. But
I think a lot of larger people also have body dysmorphia in that they don't realize how large they are. That's how it was for me. For me, I never even noticed that I was that large. Honestly, I was 60 pounds overweight. I've shown pictures of it on here before. It was very noticeable now that I'm looking at it from the outside, looking at these pictures. But when I was there living it, I didn't even think that I was overweight. And I had people call me fat ass and stuff before. My friend called me a fat ass. But he was very scrawny, so I thought he was just overcompensating for that. And because his girlfriend wanted me, or whatever the hell his and her problems both were. But I didn't even know that I was fat. I think body dysmorphia is far more common in people not realizing that they're fat. Like me. If you gain like a pound a month over the course of several years or whatever the case may be, you're not going to notice. Your brain is having a hard time processing it, right? You're like, wait a minute, no. The last time I actually paid attention to what the hell was happening in this life, I was like 40 pounds lighter. I've been just in some kind of autopilot days, working, sleeping, etc.
You also have to understand that your biggest fear with body dysmorphia is having a body that looks like me. Like my actual body is what you are horrified of imagining that your body looks like. Does that?
No. You should stop identifying with your adipose tissue. People that are afraid of being fat are not afraid of becoming you. Hopefully you are more than just the adipose tissue. Hopefully you're a whole person underneath that.
That makes sense. So like, you know, I just urge people to be a little bit more mindful about the way that they talk about bodies, about the way that they talk about fat, and understand it's one thing to have your own personal insecurities, but when you put that onto the internet, it is no longer an individual problem. And
I will post my insecurities online all I want. I am not going to not post things online because it might offend you. There's a block button that you could use to ignore me forever. And you and I both know that you're never going to click it. So click the subscribe button. Quit screwing around.
if you're going onto the internet and you're disparaging an entire group of people that are larger than you because you think that you look bad because you look like them, like, it's very reasonable that someone from that group would have a response.
It's very weird that people from that group would ever see such a video, right? When I upload my video proclaiming that I have body dysmorphia and I don't want to be overweight, I don't know how that video is going to wind up in front of your eyes, right? Why are you searching out my video? Either way, people are allowed to engage with whatever type of communities online that they want. If videos about these topics are hurting you that bad, stop seeking them out. Next. Alright, now she's going to be responding to this comment that says, I'm not ignorant, I know all the fat acceptance talking points, and I know why they're untrue.
And I know all the fat acceptance rhetoric, and I know why it's not true. Mind you,
That's exactly what I sound like.
I'm talking about my experience. These people literally are like foaming at the mouth to try and find
We are foaming at the mouth. We are hissing and staring at the sky and screaming when we see a fat person, like that one short that I made that one time.
me and catch me in a lie, to try and catch other fat people like in this big lie, because they have this belief that all fat people, all people who are fat acceptance people are like lying, and we're trying to
I don't know if I would say that you guys are lying or you're just so riddled with personal issues that you can't see past them.
like manipulate our audience or whatever. And it's like I know these people are coming from like these anti-fat acceptance like YouTubers or pages or like literally whatever, because they all say the same thing when they come into my page,
And do you have a good retort for the thing that they're saying?
they all do this thing where they genuinely they think that everything that I'm saying is a lie.
All jokes aside and everything, How could they not see what you're saying as a lie when you say all this stuff that goes against medical science?
I am literally just speaking about my experience. I'm literally just trying to live in the world as a fat person. I'm trying to be okay and comfortable in my body. And these people genuinely get so angry.
I don't know if I would say that this person is angry. They said, I'm not ignorant. I know all the fat acceptance talking points, and I know why they're untrue. They don't seem angry. You seem to be having an emotional response to this.
Because they are made to think, they are manipulated into thinking that I am some manipulative person that is lying and that I'm not actually confident, that I actually hate myself, and I'm trying to, what?
Okay, well, as I've said before, you're either being paid or you're being played.
Manipulate people into being okay with their body, or promote obesity. Which, like, what does that mean?
It means to lie to people and tell them that they won't have a bunch of health conditions if they are obese. And all the problems that they have because of the obesity are because of how society treats them. That's how you're promoting obesity.
Don't worry about someone promoting obesity. Get mad at the food industry in the United States, at all the corn syrup in our food, at all the corporations.
What do you mean? Why would all the corn syrup in the food cause the obesity? It's genetic. It's systemic. It's society. What are you talking about? See, this is one of the things I'm talking about. You guys flip-flop on these issues constantly. I thought it was big diet that is the problem. Now we're talking about the food industry.
That are literally like pouring sugar into everything that we don't get.
Why would pouring sugar into the food that we eat cause us to be obese, fat fab feminist? I thought it was the systemic discrimination and yada 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 that caused the several extra rolls of adipose tissue to develop on my body. Now you're telling me it's the sugar in the food industry. Wow, fat fab feminist, you sure have changed your tune. Or did big diet get to you too? I should have known, man. You've changed. I thought I knew you.
Mad at me. When I talk, I'm not saying I want you to become fatter. My goal is to make you fat.
Okay. I can't believe a moment ago you blamed the food industry and sugar. You know that we don't have to eat food just because it exists, right? Like, I know that there's some Twinkies out there sitting in a cupboard somewhere or on a store shelf. I don't have to go buy them and or consume them.
Truly, my only goal is to make people okay in the bodies that they exist in. I just want you to be happy as you are, and that is literally all I want to do. That's it. Sorry, I have no interest in hating my body for the rest of my life. I apologize if that's an inconvenience for you, but your feelings are not my problem.
Alright, and that was a bizarre tirade where they said a bunch of off-the-wall crap that contradicts things that they've said in the past. Now it's the food industry. And also, apparently, you can't feel fat if you're below a size 16. Who would have thunk it? Next.
You do realize that if you are smaller than an extra small, you can still fit into that extra small. Like, it might be a little bit loose on you, slightly unflattering, but it's not the same thing as being larger than the largest size.
It's not the same thing as being larger than the largest size. That's fairly alarming. That would alarm the shit out of me, honestly, as a person, if I was bigger than the biggest size that they make. That would make me have some kind of personal epiphany.
If you can't fit into an XL or an XXL or whatever, you're done. Like, you physically could not get the item of clothing onto your body.
Okay, I'm gonna have to disagree. It also sucks if clothes are too large for you, not just if they're too small for you.
There's no amount of, like, altering that's gonna make it fit you. If it doesn't fit you, it doesn't fit you. That is, like, in no way, shape, or form the same thing as, like, skinny people not being able to fit into a size, like, XS. An item of...
See, this is why I have very little sympathy for you, because you have none for anybody else. It's weird that they're always talking about these special accommodations and we need to respect all bodies and all this type of stuff, but they're constantly trying to crap on smaller people. Why are we even making this comparison at all? It's fine if clothes are too big for you guys, but not if they're too small for me. Why are we doing this comparison?
Clothing being too baggy for you is not the same as it not literally being able to go over your body. 67% of women in the United States or more are plus size. If I'm not mistaken, roughly like 19% of the fashion industry caters to plus size women. Do you see? I know math might be hard, but I'm gonna trust your ability to understand.
You know math might be hard, but you're gonna trust my ability. Okay, so you're insulting me now too. So you have no sympathy for people that can't find clothes because the clothes are too large, and you're also insulting my intelligence and saying that I can't do math. And you want me to sympathize with you and your movement. I don't think you understand how to have a conversation with a person. You don't just crap on them continually and then tell them to listen to your side. You have to actually listen to their side and care what they're saying too. You guys are such morons who couldn't possibly understand anything. Now listen to me.
But there's an issue there. I don't know why people are on Twitter arguing with me about this before 9 a.m. I'm going back to bed.
Before 9 a.m. Bro, is that early for you? Wow. Okay. And you're going back to bed now.
And I pray that when I wake up, you all have developed a little bit of common sense.
All right, so you guys shouldn't even be having this type of conversation before 9 a.m. That's like butt crack of the morning. She's going to go back to bed, and she'll see you guys later at about 3 p.m. Don't you love how they try to crap all over you, what you believe in, your size, and all this other stuff, but then they want you to listen to them? That's rich. All right, morons, I know you can't do math, and you guys are stupid and everything, but here's why all the things I'm going through are much worse than you, idiot. Okay? Gee, I'm shocked why nobody is receptive. Now we're going to be taking a look at a final bonus clip of an artistic piece that's just called Fat. Fat. A short film.
Fat. How does that word make you feel?
I feel societal expectations weighing me down. No, I'm just kidding.
Does it bring up uncomfortable memories? Could you imagine as that taboo word is registered across your mind's eye?
As the word is registered across my mind's eye. It kind of reminds me of that time I pooped my pants when I worked at the golf course. Gather around, children, it's story time. One time when I worked at the golf course, I had... Maybe I shouldn't tell this story.
Now, I've run away from the word fat my whole life.
You ran away from the word? Are you sure? Do-do-do. Shh. Sorry.
Terrified of the connotations that word brings. Greedy.
I'm scared.
Lazy. Sexually desperate and Virginial at the same time.
Sexually desperate and what?
And Virginial at the same time.
Virginial? That's a word? For people that are virgins? Okay. You guys are so virginial, bro. I like it.
Food obsessed, no willpower. A cautionary tale. A warning sign.
Okay. And you're saying that people that are morbidly obese do not have any sort of addiction around food at all. Okay.
Someone who is not allowed to access the world as their body does not fit.
The world. Well, sometimes you got to go out there and be a girl in the world. You know what I mean? So it just is what it is, you know? Us girls have to stick together. I was walking down the street the other day and I saw this girl. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be a dumbass and make fun of your accent like that. I actually like it a lot. A girl in the world. A person. A person. That's my favorite one.
Not allowed to wear the clothes they'd like to wear.
Well,
Which is a lighthouse for hatred and vitriol.
I don't know, man. I kind of like to think that my body is, Wonderland. Sorry, I'll stop referencing that every 10 minutes.
Have you sat and challenged why this word holds so much negative power? Why you may flinch when I call myself fat? Because that's what I am.
Okay.
I'm a human who lives in a fat body.
I'm a fat body who lives in a human. You wouldn't feel the need to make this display talking about how you're unashamed if you were really unashamed. This is overcompensation. You're saying to the world, my weight and my size is an enormous deal to me, and I can't get over it. That's what this whole thing is.
My home just happens to store adipose tissue. Maybe more or maybe less than others.
That's not how any of that works. Your home, as in your body, doesn't just happen to store more adipose tissue than others. It's the food that we're eating, dude.
My body does not indicate any of the tropes that are so accustomed to seeing on our screens. My body does not
God, this is so freaking pretentious. Jesus Christ.
tell you anything about my health, my personality.
Your body doesn't tell us anything about your health. If you were missing an arm, do you think that I would notice that? Do you think I could visually see that? Because obesity, you may not like to hear this, is also detectable visually. We could see it.
My wants and desires, my ambitions, my dreams.
What was that pose, bro? I'm sick of pretentious poses, dog. What is this?
ambitions.
I was just talking with somebody about this recently. I'm sick of all the poses of people like going out in the woods and going like it's just so stupid. This world seems to have a problem with narcissism and pretentiousness, and these often go hand in hand. We have people out there filming themselves like laying on the ground looking up at the trees in the woods and all this stupid crap, closing their eyes and smiling like this. Like, who are these photos for? It's so stupid. It sure isn't for me because I'm laughing at it. So wonder who you're making it for. Somebody without a sense of humor, apparently.
Dreams. But I can tell you.
Okay, so how much did it cost to rent this weird little table to film this segment on? That's what I would like to know. Can I go rent this space to film a satirical version of this?
I am lovable, beautiful, inspirational.
What is this?
Creative, smart, funny.
Okay, well, if you said all those things about yourself, then they must be true. I'm the smartest, the best looking, the funniest.
Fashionable, driven, healthy, active.
Okay. It seems like you don't believe any of those things, which is why you feel the need to tell me about it.
Happy, content, excited. All of this nuance and complexity
Stop doing that, please.
existing in my...
Ah! What are you doing, madam?
The word used to bully and belittle, I now embrace. How does that make you feel?
I don't know, man. I'm having a myriad of emotions right now. I'm having a hard time processing. Mainly, I'm confused, I think. That's an emotion, right? Okay. Adam Barclay is the one who filmed this, I'm guessing. Good work, Adam. Fat. Yeah. That sort of deep art really makes you question yourself and your place in this world. No, I'm just kidding. So that was great. I love when people get all pretentious with their art. Honestly, 99.9% of art is just that type of nonsense that I don't consider art at all. It's so abstract that you may not even realize that it's art at all. So what do you think of the clips that we just saw? Does Europe suck because their clothing isn't big enough? Does it suck worse when fat people can't fit into clothing than when thin people can't? And what do you think of that little artistic film we just watched? Leave a comment below. Happy Thursday, everybody. Anyway, that about does it. Thanks for watching, commenting, liking, and subscribing. And I'll see you in the next one.